All right, guys, good evening and afternoon to everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have a number of folks from across the country that's going to join us today. So I just want to welcome you all to the kickoff to the 2026-2027 Robotics Education and Competition Robotics and Drone season. So welcome to everybody. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on today. We have a bunch of regional support managers as well as some directors on the call today: Ben Mitchell, Chris Stewart, Emily Honorado, Luann Cormier, Matt Kemper, and myself, Shelly Brasher, and Ulrika. Again, my name is Pat Price. I am the Regional Support Manager for Illinois, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. So if any of you coaches or event partners, drones and robotics, please reach out to me at any point in time if you have any questions. Um, One of the things we want to put on this presentation is kind of a caveat. We are recording this conversation, but there's always things that are subject to change. So if there's any conflicts between the content of this actual webinar itself and some of those official documents and policies that we have, including the game manuals, code of conduct, student center policy, qualifying criteria, the most current versions of the official documents and policies will take precedence. And you can find those all in the REC library or at recf.org. I would be remiss if we didn't talk about our mission and vision, which is our guiding purposes at the REC Foundation. The Robotics Education and Competition Foundation's global mission is to provide every educator competition and education and workforce readiness programs to increase student engagement in science, technology, engineering, math, as well as computer science. Our vision is an important one. We see a future where every student designs and innovates as part of a team. They overcome those failures, perseveres, and emerges confident in their ability to meet global challenges. And so we are sure that our partners who want to join us this season have this same mission and vision in their head as well. Going forward today, we have a bunch of different topics. We're going to talk about the new game, the RECF, the games for the season, the Engage game, Achieve, as well as Inspire. We're going to go over organizational policies. This is similar to what we did last season as well. We're going to walk you through a little bit of how to register your teams for the season, and not just that, but also event registration. We're going to talk about available grants that we have for the season, and also how to go about finding those grants and applying for those grants in a timely manner. We're going to go over just the event season itself, a bunch of different resources that we have for you guys, just like always. And then at the end, we're going to take some time and answer a bunch of your questions. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you should see a Q&A button. It's a perfect place to go ahead and type in your questions. We're probably not going to answer them live just because we want to make sure that everybody on this call hears that question and gets those answers, because there's a great chance that they have that same question that you have. So our team is going to go ahead and grab those questions, and we're going to go ahead and make sure we have a list of answers for you. So at the end of the call, we'll go over those Q&As. Again, this season, we're currently following the RSM model, or the Regional Support Manager model. If you're unaware and unsure who your RSM is, you can always go to the support page on recf.org and you can search by your state. But here's a map of all of our different RSMs, our country RSMs, national RSMs, as well as our international RSMs as well. So go ahead and take a look at that. If you haven't met them yet, please reach out to them and make sure you introduce yourself. I know me, I always like to get in touch with all of my coaches and event partners and other mentors before the season begins, so that we can go ahead and make that connection to be prepared for the season. The REC Foundation, we have different programs going on. Our new programs for our elementary school and middle school age students, which we're also going to put as U12 and U15, is the RECF Engage Robotics Competition, where we utilize VEX IQ robotics, Lego robotics, and other limited 3D printing abilities for our kids. For our middle school and high school, so U15 and U19, we call that our RECF Achieve Robotics Competition. And for our university folks, that is our RECF Inspire. So that's really important that we start to kind of understand what those new programs are within the REC Foundation. Just like last year, we have our aerial drone competition, or ADC, which encompasses elementary, middle school, and high school. But something brand new for this year, or at least we're starting to really get geared up and we're excited about, is called our ADC Pro, which is for the most part really just intended for our high school and our college teams. But you can go ahead and check out that QR code. We're going to have a bunch of QR codes today where you can kind of get an idea of what those programs really look like. We have a bunch of affiliations that we're still working hand in hand with, such as our JROTC programs, our NSBE, or our National Society of Black Engineers, as well as our UIL out there in Texas. And as a side note, we're already into prototyping games for the future seasons, and we already have a game design committee that is working on our games for the next season. So don't feel like this is just the last season for the RECF. We are already prepared and ready to move forward with all of our programs. Um, Something that I've always loved about our programs is that they're student-centered programs.
Pat, can I
What that
just
means for
break
our
in?
coaches and our mentors is that you guys are really just there as a resource to help educate our students on the best ways to work within our robotics programs. So, also with our parents, we have that's our hardest part, honestly, is that our parents need to understand what does it mean about being student-centered. So if you check out that QR code, you can check out some adult behavioral guidelines that are going to help lead our students to success. So when attending those events, we want to ensure a positive and educational experience for everybody. And we ask that all adults please adhere to the behavioral guidelines while interacting with those teams. And so, if all of our adults, when in doubt, student led is student success. And our adults are going to learn about how to focus on learning over winning, how to respect the student centeredness, how to provide guidance and not answers. It's all about what you're asking them to help kind of maneuver their brains into answering those questions without even have to asking them. Maintaining that positive environment and encourage student communication. Our biggest asset is for our students to learn those secondary soft skills. And for all of our adults, just stay behind the scenes. Just be there as a champion for your kids. Respect all those participants, and avoid those unnecessary interferences. There is consequences for those non-compliances. We have those processes in place, just like we always had. And just remember, student-led, student success. So let's kind of get into our games for the season. We're going to start with our RCF Engage. Chris, can you go ahead and kind of get us jump started into the games for the season?
Sure. Arca, did you have something you wanted to say before I started with these?
I we do have Ryan on here as a guest, so I wanted to give him an opportunity to say a few words before we go on. He's currently named Ulrika Peroni, but
All right, can you hear me okay?
we sure can.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Sorry for being late, everybody. I'm actually out in Washington, D.C. right now. I just got back from a really cool experience at the National Advocacy Conference, where there's a bunch of high school students here who are talking to representatives. And I got to witness some of those conversations, and it ran a little long. I mean, anything with the government's going to run a little long, so it is what it is. But I was so encouraged by what I saw with those students. But I'd been asked earlier if I could stop on and say hi and just introduce myself. So my name is Ryan Osweiler. I'm the Vice President of Programs for the RCF. And I asked Ulrika if I could also just reinforce how grateful we are for the support of the community. I know we have a whole lot of people on the call tonight looking to learn more. We have people who are already saying they want to do RECF programs. That's great. We have a lot of people on who are unsure about what's going to happen next year, what they're going to do. But I am really excited as a parent myself of a student who competes. I'm really excited to see the community kind of rally around these programs, these new games. I know that we have a great support structure. Pat did a great job of introducing folks, and um, I can't say enough about this team. Not just the team on the call, but also the entire RECF team. It has been an interesting last 6 or 7 weeks, but what the RECF team has been able to do in that amount of time to get the season going is nothing short of remarkable. And I hope that I hope the community sees the hard work they put in, but I also hope that the community sees how invested the staff is in seeing the adults, the teams, but most importantly the students try to have as normal of a season as possible to really make this about the students. I talked to a few parents at the conference tonight who obviously are just unsure about things, and but one thing they all had told me is they were really excited about what the RECF is doing, and hoping that the kids can have a normal season. And I know that the RECF is committed to giving the students the best experience possible. And I think Ulrika touched on too, or Pat, maybe the Q&As. We may not have the answers to everything. If you reach out to your RSM, there might be a question that comes in that we just don't have an answer to yet, and that's okay. I think Pat said that we wouldn't answer them live, but we'll take all the questions, and if we, obviously can answer them quickly, we will. But if not, we'll make sure to get back to you. So I'll turn it back over to Chris. But I just, thanks Ulrika for letting me butt in even late. I apologize, but I really thank everybody for coming on this webinar. I know it's what, late June, and there's probably other things. I'm sure maybe some people are taking this call from a beach or somewhere else right now, but it's really cool to see the community coming together and trying to get a good season off and running and doing what's best for the students. So, and I'll speak for all the RSMs too. We have a wide network of regional support managers. I think many people value that they're able to still communicate with people that they recognize, that they know. Even though we do have some new regional support managers, they're all waiting and willing to help you answer emails, phone calls quickly to get you the answers you need and the support you need. So thanks again, everybody, for coming. And Chris, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Ryan. All right. So my name is Chris Stewart. I cover Wisconsin is one of the states I cover, and I'm also a director that covers JROTC and special initiatives. I'm going to talk a little bit about our robot games, and then I'm going to pass it over to my friend Shelly, who's going to talk about some drones games. So let's start off with RECF Engage. So our Engage game this year is called Tier Takeover. This game is designed for our elementary school students, middle school students. One question that came up early on when we were discussing this is the U12, U15. I know Pat brought it up, but I just wanted to lay out what that means while you guys are scanning this QR code. So U12, U15, that's the age range for the brackets. So for U12, that means they need to be 12 years or younger by the end of the season, so by the last day of the championship. Same for middle school U15, they have to be 15 years or younger by the last day of the World Championship. So that's kind of what that means. So it says that in the game manual, but that question has come up a couple of times, so I just wanted to lay that out. But the Engage game, if we want to go to the next slide, it's designed for our plastic robots. So we have multiple systems that can be played in this game this year, which is fantastic. So we can bring in some Vex IQ teams. We can bring in some Lego League teams with their Spike, with their EV3 robot systems. And they can all play this game together, which is phenomenal. It'll be fun for the first time being able to bring multiple systems to the same playing field. Another great highlight about this system is teams can have up to 6 pieces of plastic, and this can be a combination of a couple different things. They can have flat plastics like the older kids have always been able to have. They can also have custom 3D printed parts. There are size restrictions that go along with those 3D printed parts, but we're very excited to be able to bring some 3D printing into this to give kids a chance to design their own parts for their robots for the first time, which is very, very exciting. And the other thing that I'm excited about this game is there is no height restrictions on these robots. So I'm excited to see some very, very tall robots depositing beanbags up on that high level 4 goal, just to see what happens when they're trying to move around at that height. So very excited to see our plastic robots of different types all playing on the same field and getting as tall as they can. Moving on to our next game, we move on to RECF Achieve. So this is for our older kids. These are our metal robots. These are going to be the exact same electronics that you've used for years, but now we've opened up our metal a little bit for what you can use, so our structural pieces. So if you go through the game manual here, you'll be able to find the different structural pieces that you can use and give you some more options, maybe the pieces that your school already has, things of that nature. Some highlights here. Again, this still uses the Vex V5 electronics that we've always used, but now we're incorporating non-electronic parts such as robots and Tetrix. A lot of schools already have these, so this is a great thing to have that you can draw from. Also might be a place where you can source materials out at different price points if you're trying to save some money. Again, teams can have up to this time 12 pieces of plastic or 3D printed parts. And so again, those have size requirements, but we're extremely excited to let teams get the 3D printers out and design their own custom parts for the first time, be able to have those on the robot and actually use 3D printed parts to make the robots more competitive. We keep it at 12 pieces and certain sizes just to make sure that it's not getting too out of control, but it's a great option for teams. Now, one part of this rule with the 3D printing is that teams don't necessarily have to have a 3D printer. You can design the part yourself and send it off to a place to have printed. That's absolutely fine. But the teams need to design those parts themselves. Another great part about this game is that there's, again, no limit on how tall these robots can expand. And so I'm very excited to see some crazy tall towers made of these pins and cups. I want to see how tall they get. I want to see some records and see who can score some crazy high towers. You can see with our field layout, it looks a little bit different than the original game, how we have a very large neutral area in the middle. So that it could be some very interesting interactions in early game autonomous play. So very excited to see how this game plays out. Again, this game is for middle school and high school. And then we move to our RECF Inspire. So Inspire is our college level, university level game. As you can see, the field has a few more pins on it than the high school version of it. The Inspire game for college, here's the game manual here. You can scan the QR code. So very similar layout, a few more pins on the field, but now your college teams are bringing in 2 robots. So they don't have an alliance team member. They're their own team. Some highlights here. Both robots this year are going to be 18 by 18 by 18. So they're not going to have the one smaller, one larger that we've seen in the past. Both will start at that same match size. There's no limit to how tall the robots can expand. So very excited to see these robots getting very large. And we're bringing in some other legal electronics. So things like Raspberry Pis and other custom electronics that are designed by the team, just to see what teams can do with those outside electronics, bringing those in to see what they can do on the robot. So very excited to see the innovation that the college level brings. And this is kind of where we came up with the name Inspire, is because the high school kids see these college robots and they really get inspired by what they see, and they want to move on to that next level of engineering at the college. So very excited to see what our college kids can come up with and design for their new game. Kind of lay out a basic timeline for our season. So for those of you that have been around for a while, this timeline is going to look very similar. June and July is when teams will start doing their summer meetings. This is also a good time that states might do summer meetings. So you might have meetings with your RSM to kind of get your state organized. Maybe you're filling out planning calendars, things of that nature. At the team level, maybe you're having some summer practices. Maybe you're building your teams, figuring out what your teams are going to look like, registering for the teams, things like that. August and September is when we really start to kick off. That's kind of the beginning of school. That's when we have our first events. So I believe one of our first events is going to be August 1st, if I saw that right. So very excited to see that and how that plays out. Moving into October, November, December, January, that's our kind of main competition season. So this is where you're going to see a lot of different qualifying events. This is where teams are going to go to qualifying events within their region. Maybe they're going to try to go to more signature events. Maybe they're going to participate in leagues. This all kind of happens in that October to January timeframe when they're really trying to get as much competing in as possible. The more they compete, the more they come back home and iterate their robots, the better and more competitive they'll be as they continue forward. Then we move into February, March. That's when your event regional championships normally will happen. So February, March, you're looking for those event regional championships in your area. That might look a little different this year, depending on how teams fall. So do keep your eyes out on that. And then April, May timeframe is the STEM World Championship. So we talked about that. It crosses from April into May this year. We'll share those dates a little later on in the presentation. So I don't want to steal any thunder from that part of the presentation. That's a basic season timeline for a robotics season from start to finish. And then after May, the STEM World Championship, like Pat was saying, we've already got Next year's game fairly well developed, so the new game will get released, and the whole process starts over again. With that, I'm going to kick it over to my good friend Shelly, who's going to talk a little bit about our drones. Shelly?
All right, thank you, Chris. Hi, I'm Shelly Brasher. I'm the Regional Support Manager for Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, and South Carolina. But I've been working behind the scenes for the last 5 years or so with drone programs, and I'm thrilled to be able to talk to you tonight about our growing drone programs. We ended the season last season with the aerial drone competition with approximately 2,800 teams. And we really haven't had an opportunity to advertise it much within our robotics community. So I'm very excited to be able to share with you tonight about the aerial drone competition. I can't share a game because the season hasn't started yet, and the game will be released on August 11th. But for schools that are in session, they're already planning their watch parties for August 11th. So can't wait until that date to, we just sit on the edge of our seat waiting for everybody to start giving us feedback about the new game. So mark your calendar. Now, the aerial drone competition is a little bit like IQ, the Engage program. It has 4 missions, but there are some distinct differences. One thing with the aerial drone, they don't have to build anything. So they are flying right out of the box. So they participate at a tournament. They participate in the teamwork mission where they work collaboratively with another team, similar to our Engage program. Then they also have solo flight, similar to driver skills, but we have piloting skills. It's a lot like a race, and the students absolutely love that. They see how many times that they can perform the obstacles in the period of time in a 60-second match. And then the autonomous flight skills mission poses an incredible challenge. One of the things I love about the aerial drone coding challenges is that they are actually coding on site. Because of the way that the drone is impacted by a draft or somebody walking by or a door opening, they are having to adapt their code to the environment. So we are actually getting to see them do live code at the event. And then finally, mission 4 is the communications mission, where they get to document their strategies, their coding, their safety plans, everything that they're learning about drone careers are all documented in their logbook. And then, of course, they get that final interview with the judges at an event for them to be able to share all of their amazing learning that they're doing. One thing that's really neat about the aerial drone competition that I found is that it appeals to a different group of students. And we are really seeing this as a place for students to belong who never saw the robotics program as their place. Now, yes, we have lots of robotics kids who love the drone competitions too. So I'm not saying that it's exclusive in any way. I'm just saying that this has offered an opportunity to open up to other students who maybe were not interested in robotics, and we're able to really fulfill our mission and vision by expanding these opportunities to these students. Now, the equipment that you'll be using is the Co-Drone EDU. It is made by RoboLink, and RoboLink also offers the educational resources, the getting started, the coding resources, the safety courses, etc. And you receive what you see here on the screen. The Co-Drone EDU is for indoor flight and indoor coding. And in this kit, $249 for a regular Co-Drone EDU. And then there is a JROTC edition for about $315. This program is one of our most accessible in terms of price point. So if that is an issue with adding new programs to your school, then this is something that you may want to consider, because it's definitely a bargain, but yet students are still getting these same concepts and skills as they are for some of the more expensive programs. The field is a little bit different too. So our field element kit consists of the arch gates, the keyhole gates, the landing pads, the cubes, programming mats. That's everything that you see at the top of the image, and that is the field element kit. Those are elements that are reused every year, and while the games are different, these elements are rearranged and used in different ways. There is a unique game every season. That's the game that will be launched August 11th. And this is what you see with the mystery box. You can pre-order these now from our sponsor, Drone Competition Gates. And Drone Competition Gates provides the field and game elements. Game element kits are running, typically around $375. Some years it's a little less, some years it's a little more. The field element kit is approximately $1,000. So that's what you're looking at in terms of initial investment with this type of program. It is easy to assemble, easy to transport, easy to share from one school to another, easy to work together to have tournaments with this type of equipment. The season timeline right now, teams are registering. So season registration is open. Game element pre-orders are available at Drone Competition Gates. People are getting their drones, their co-drone EDUs at RoboLink. They're doing summer camps. This is a great program to do with the summer camp. August 11th will be the game reveal, and then October is when we will start seeing qualifying competitions begin. The championship structure is TBD for a lot of reasons. In the past, we have used a regional model because there weren't any states that had enough teams to really have their own event region championship at the state level. But as this program continues to grow, then we have to kind of readjust and look at where we've got areas that are reaching that significant growth where we can do some changes with the championship structure. So stay tuned. We're working on this, and we expect to talk more about this at the summit in July. Now, introducing Aerial Drone Competition Pro, where drones, robots, and makers take flight. I know you heard the change in my voice. I'm a little bit excited about this one. This is one of my pet projects that I've been working on for a couple of years with the drones team, and I'm just super excited that we're able to offer this next level. So the Aerial Drone Competition Pro does just that. It combines 2 different drones and a ground vehicle. The game specifics is that the teams are going to use a drone kit. They build the drone from a kit that is made by Mind's Eye Education. They play 2 versus 2 in a 20 by 20 by 10 foot cage that you see on the screen. Super exciting. They do skills using the co-drone, and on both teamwork and skills, they are using a ground vehicle, and the ground vehicle can be anything of your choosing. It is not brand specific. It has to meet the criteria of being a certain size. So what you're seeing here is the Mind's Eye Competition Drone Kit offered by Mind's Eye Education. This is also a drone kit that is used often in Skills USA. So it may be something that your school already owns if they have been participating in Skills USA competitions. Of course, the co-drone EDU is the second drone in the competition, and any schools having ADC programs are going to have that as well. And then I'm assuming that most everybody on this call has robots in your school of some shape, form, or fashion. And any of those could be used as the ground vehicle that is going to support the efforts of both of these air vehicles. The season timeline, registration opened actually in February. It is reopened again in our new system. We opened it in February. We launched the game and opened the season registration in February to find where the interest was really going to be. We wanted to have an idea of where these first tournaments might take place. Well, that's kind of gone out the window because the interest has just been way beyond our wildest dreams. And so we are going to have major pockets of teams all over the US and actually looking in international as well. We launched the game in February for the purpose of teams to or schools to learn about this program and to start planning their budgets accordingly. And also for teams to go ahead and start getting these Mind's Eye drones, because it takes time to build the drone and learn to fly the drone, as well as making modifications. So this is another one of our programs where 3D printing is allowed. We want to see you modify the Mind's Eye drone. We want to see how creative students can get with this ground vehicle using, multi different brands, or even designing their own. They could use a remote control car with an Arduino and make their own robot. So Another thing unique about this program is that it has 2 semesters of competitions. So this program honestly has been developed by, over the past few years, all of the things that teachers have been telling us that they want. One of those things is that they wanted to have a team of a certain group of students in the fall, but then be allowed to have a different group of students on that same team in the spring. So in order to accommodate that, we are actually offering 2 seasons. So there will be August through November. We'll qualify for a December championship. And then in January, we do a restart, play in the same game, and we now have a January to April season with a championship event in May. Really excited to see how all of these changes pan out and the feedback at the end of the season. And we look forward to all of you who will go on this ride with us.
Thank you so much, Shelley.
All right.
Hi, good
Pass
evening.
it on. Oh, sorry. Pass it on to Emily. Go, Emily.
Thank you, Shelley. Hi, guys. My name is Emily Honorado. I am the new Regional Support Manager for Indiana. And so we're going to kick it off here and start talking about something I think we are all very much excited about here at REC, is our new launch of recfevents.org. So I'm going to walk you guys through quickly on how you can set up this. So this is going to be our main landing page for all of our coaches and our mentors and our event partners, for them to manage their organization and their teams, as well as be able to sort through events local in their area and post their events. So when you navigate to recfevents.org, the first thing you're going to want to do is register for an account. We do encourage anyone who from the past season that had a Robot Events account to be able to use that same email address that they previously used to create your account. Because in a moment, I'm going to talk about how you're going to be able to claim your organization number and your past teams. So just to make sure we've done a little bit of the legwork on the back end for you. So if you previously had a Robot Events account, please use that same email address. From there, it's just like setting up any other account. You're going to enter your information and hit register. I do want people to realize that it will send you a verification through your email. And so we've talked to some coaches that haven't necessarily been able to receive that verification email. My advice is to first check your spam folder. And if you still did not get that verification code, please reach out to your regional support manager. Many of our school districts and have pretty intense filtering systems and firewalls attached with their email accounts, and not everybody is receiving that. So if you weren't able to verify your email address, please reach out to your regional support manager. We can work that out on the back end and get you verified. All right, so now you've created your new RECF Events account. We want you to go in and go ahead and register and claim your organization. So for my brand new organizations, you're gonna click the add button, and everything's that's listed on your dashboard is under quick action items. So for new coaches or new schools and organizations looking to join the REC Foundation, you're gonna hit the add button and be able to add your information. Now, our system will randomly assign you numbers and a series of letters that will be associated with your organization and team members. If you're returning to the REC Foundation, whether that's in a robotics or aerial drone competition, there's a very large red button that says claim your organization. So our IT department has worked really hard to switch everything over for everyone. So if you're returning, you can click claim your organization. And if it matches with the organization's primary contact from last year, you'll be able to go in and claim your org number. Again, any problems that you have with that, you can reach out to your regional support manager and we'll help you if you are getting an error message as a returning coach and you're not able to find that. All right, once you've created that, your organization, and you're simply going to put in your school or your organization's name, your address, and select your organization type, whether that's a public, private school, nonprofit. From there, there is a green button that you can add your teams. You'll be asked to fill in that team number, their name, grade level, and how you anticipate to pay for the season registration. So I will say that, if you go in and you click that you're going to pay with a credit card, and then when it comes time that you need to change your payment method, all you have to do is go in and click edit on that team, and you can update the payment, whether you're going to do a PO or a wire transfer as well. So those can be changed at any time. But however, if you need to change the grade level or the team letter number, you do have to reach out to your regional support manager for that. Thank you. All right, so we're talking about registration fees. We have two types of registration. So the first thing to participate in RECF programs is what we call our season registration. We have two platforms. So this year, moving forward, our drones team registration is $200, and our robotics programs will be $175. So paying those registration costs for the season, this will allow your teams to participate in the RECF Foundation throughout the whole season. And you'll also continue getting what we're doing right now: coach and event partner support, volunteer training, online challenges, and things that most of our coaches are used to that we continue doing as well. For event registration, this refers to your teams going to an event. Which you'll be able to filter in RECF events. We typically have those prices. Those are set by the event partner. So they're typically $50 to $100. And those funds go directly to that event partner or that school who's hosting that. And it covers their registration, or covers the cost for them to be able to host that events for our students. So if you're a new coach or a returning coach and you've never hosted an event before, this is an absolute wonderful time for you to get started, because on recfevents.org, you can select to have EP access. And from there, the regional support manager will reach out and help you get your certification to be a certified event partner with us. And this is a great way to fundraise for your school and your organization and make sure you're able to maintain your program as well. Just because I don't want to run out of time, I'm not going to go over everything, but a lot of people ask, well, where does our registration money go to? So this is just a great visual that our marketing team put together for us, just to break down the cost of where that goes. So, a large portion of that is going to service and support. This is what REC is all about, being able to give you the support, and the regional support managers, people that are going to be able to reach. You can reach out throughout the season and get advice on hosting events and being able to support your team, as well as the Coach Academy and our technology with our game design committees and our competition portal that we'll talk about in a moment. So just a quick breakdown. I won't go over everything. Next, we're going to talk about fee waiver. Oh, maybe we changed our order. Oh, sorry. We're going to talk about organizational policy. So if you're new to REC, that's a word we've used quite a few times. That's defined by your program, whether you're meeting at the school or your private location, multiple grade levels. We categorize our programs by organizations. And so you're welcome to scan the QR code that will take you right into our REC library to break down a little bit about what that is. But really, an organization is defined by their location and the information that you put into RECF events. So we will have coming soon this season, just the way we had it last year, organizations will have to upload proof of their organization. So public schools and private schools, they will have to have on a letterhead from administration that these teams are associated with their organization. And for any of our nonprofit teams, they'll be asked to upload their nonprofit certifications as well. So any questions about that, you can reach out to your regional support manager. They'll be reaching out to coaches as well for those documentations over the course of the season as well. All right, fee waivers. So we are bringing back team registration fee waivers. This is going to help support the teams that have very large organizations. So you have to be a returning organization with the REC Foundation, a public or a charter school, or a non-official 501c3 nonprofit. You've had to at least have more than 6 active teams this past season. And then you also have to agree to register and pay for those first 6 teams. So this is included for robotics teams as well as our aerial drone competition teams. Any additional teams after the 6 that has been paid for, you're eligible for a fee waiver to help support the cost of those team registrations. So feel free to reach out to your RSM and scan the QR code to learn more about those fee waivers. And the next thing is grants, one of my favorite things. If you guys didn't know, I used to be a grant support manager before I took on the RSM role. So I know the importance of grants and how you guys this helps you sustain, start new programs, and continue all the hard work that you're doing with these students. So please, please, please constantly visit recf.org and recfevents.org. This is where all of the grants that come in from our generous sponsors, we will post those as well as the application links. So our grant season is officially open for all of our programs, robotics, aerial drone, and for our event partners who are ready to get started and host competitions. If there's any questions throughout the year, we have an incredible grant team that you can reach out directly at grants@recf.org, and they'll get you everything that you need to apply and make sure you understand the application process. And throughout the year, as sponsorship gets added, the RSMs and I will be able to send that information out to you as well. All right, Mac, I'm going to let you take it over.
Fantastic. All right. My name is Mac. I have been a regional support manager for the last season, supporting Colorado. And this year, I am proud to say I have moved into a program manager role for event support. So I will be helping out throughout the season with all event related questions and making sure everything goes smoothly for your experience while you are at an event. Now, speaking of that, let's go over the formats we're planning on offering for this season. For the 2026-2027 season, you should expect to see event formats that you are familiar with and a few relatively new formats that we piloted during our last season. Returning are the traditional open tournament, invitationals, and leagues. Leagues are a great flexible opportunity for teams to be able to attend an event over multiple days with flexibility to miss a couple of those dates, and gives a wide opportunity for them to take on different challenges. Now, this season, we will be expanding on the school-based tournaments, which are events only available to school-based organizations as identified during a team's registration with provided documentation. Lastly, we're excited to expand on the conference model. This model allows for event partners, teams, and organizations to collaborate for the duration of a season through formation and management of their own event region. This can allow for direct qualification to the STEM World Championship and gives a great opportunity for regions with several organizations, or for districts, large organizations that have lots of teams that may find it better to organize events within themselves and create qualification that way. For more information on all of these event formats, refer to the qualifying criteria that is going to be posted in our knowledge base. Perfect. The next topic is registering for an event. Now, at this time, we are coordinating events for the upcoming season in conjunction with launching a better portal and website to facilitate the event registration workflow. In future webinars, we will walk you through the registration process, but your regional support manager will also be following up in the coming days or weeks with detailed information and instructions to set up your team for success. I can tell you right now, we are actively working and perfecting this site, and I'm really excited for the ease that is going to allow everybody to experience for not only posting events, but finding events and getting the best experience for your teams. Now, if you're an EP ready to post events, we are almost there. We are currently beta testing the system and getting it set up, working through those final couple stages. We're once again excited about the ease and simplicity, and we are looking forward to sharing with you the information with you. If you have any immediate questions, you can always reach out to your regional support manager, but as mentioned, they will have more information shortly. Now, this next slide is my favorite, and I am pleased to say that the RECF STEM World Championship dates are set out. And just like last year, we will be calling St. Louis home for a few days as students show off all of the skills they have accumulated throughout the season. The STEM World Championship will showcase all programs offered by RECF, including both robotics and drones. Now, the dates will be April 27th through May 6, 2027. More details are going to come out soon in the coming weeks for the specific dates corresponding to each of the programs offered. This is going to be a great opportunity, and I can't wait to see how everybody progresses throughout the season. Next up, we are going to talk a little bit about training and certification. As always, we aim to provide coaches with resources to support your programs. All of our training and certifications throughout the entire season are going to be accessible at training.recf.org. At this time, they are currently being updated to reflect the 2026-27 season and will be available shortly. The head referee certification for the Chief program is currently being worked on and will soon be followed by the event partner certification, after which we will work on updating all remaining certifications to match the new season. On the plus side, if you did any of these certification paths last year, you will only have to test and get recertified on the changes for this season. For all of these opportunities, you not only earn the certification, but you also earn professional development credit that you can take back to whatever you need for your job or for your career, for all of these opportunities. So it's a great way to get involved and learn more about the programs and the ways that your students or teams will interact with these volunteers and officials at events. Alrighty, another resource I want to share that you are probably already familiar with if you're on the call with me is our RECF training webinars, which are monthly opportunities to explore specific topics that are relevant to the specific phases of the RECF robotics and aerial drone competition seasons. These webinars are geared towards both new and experienced participants. A list of all the upcoming coach, event partner, head referee, and judge training webinars for the 26-27 season will be posted soon in the RECF library. Feel free to suggest in the PD certification survey after this training today what you would like us to cover. I believe this link will also be updated after this webinar with the recording from today's session. Now, the final training opportunity I will touch on today is our RECF Coach Academy. To further support our coaches and allow for more in-depth discussions, the Robotics Education and Competition Foundation is continuing the Coach Academy, which is a two-part support system for both new and experienced coaches. The Coach Academy is a free online asynchronous set of courses that utilizes the Moodle platform at training.recf.org to assist coaches on staying up to date with the latest RECF policies, procedures, and resources. There, you can dive deeper into various topics at your own pace while you earn the verified coach badges and the professional development credit for completing courses. You can also join weekly open office hours to ask questions or dive deeper into certain topics that aren't covered asynchronously. So it's a great opportunity, no matter how much experience you have as a coach, to figure out what questions you have and get answers to those whenever you need to. Now, with that, I believe I'm going to turn it back over to Pat.
Right. So just a couple of different things. Again, if you need to find your regional support manager, whether it was for robotics or even our drone competitions, please check out that QR code. You can always go to recf.org and find that the support link to be able to list all of your regional support managers, as well as their contact information. As always, our library is a vast source of information for you guys to pour through, whether you're a drone coach, a robotics coach, or even an event partner, and heck, even if you're a parent or even a student, and just where to kind of get started. So check those library resources and the support resource to help contact your RSM. Again, they're eager to meet you and speak to you if you haven't already done so. So next we have a ton of Q&As, which we definitely knew was going to happen. So we wanted to make sure we spent some time at least discussing some of those Q&As. And in just a moment, We are going to put up our professional development certificate, at least the access for it. It's a Google form. Just make sure that you put the actual name you want on your PD certificate so that you can probably get credit for that. So Ulrika, let's start off with a couple of questions and let's see if we can get our best answers for our folks. Just remember, everybody, that if we don't have the answer for you, that's okay. We're going to find that answer for you, or just like Max said, some of these things are in progress and we just can't necessarily talk about it at the moment. So don't be offended if we can't answer your question to the fullest. Again, we get with your RSM to be able to ask that question to get that best answer for you. But we have a lot of stuff that is currently in progress, and a lot of those answers will be finalized by our RECF summit in mid-July. So, Ulrika, what are some of those questions we can go ahead and hit on?
Thanks, Pat. We have had so many questions come here in the background. I've been copying and pasting this whole time, but some of the ones to just start with is, can my students participate in an RECF program and other programs at the same time?
I didn't know. Going back to
Absolutely.
me.
Yes, you most certainly can. We've also gotten questions whether students can participate in the RCF robotics programs and the drones programs at the same time, and that is absolutely possible as well. We've gotten questions about what states have currently registered with RECF, and I think that is going to be something that is going to be fluent throughout the country. We do have some areas on Facebook who have said that we have joined with us, and we have some who have said that they have joined to compete with what they are used to. That being said, you can do both. So do join us. There are a couple of signature events that are going with the RCF. So the Carolina Countdown for New Year's Eve in South Carolina, that's going to have robotics and drones. The Kansas University Showcase on August 1st is going to be an RCF signature event. And there are others that are planning to go with the RCF but have not made official announcements yet. If we join the RECF competition, what do we tell people and print our t-shirts and banners? That we do achieve. We can no longer say VEX Robotics. Basically, it's RECF Achieve is the name of our program. If your team is competing in both programs and they show up with shirts that say VEX on them, that's not going to be a problem for us. This is for the kids. If they get the opportunity to compete in two programs, that's not going to be something that's going to be an issue. Have them enjoy what they're doing. Have them do robotics. Have them learn. That's our main goal for all of this. Yes, we are running a different we got a question. Is the VEX Robotics competition does it still exist with the REC Foundation, or are we running a different competition? We are running a different competition. We are using the same game elements this year, but we are running a completely different game. And the games can be found on the website. And maybe I should have started with this because we have a lot of questions about whether or not this is going to be recorded. And yes, this webinar is recorded, and it will be posted on rcf.org under trainings in a couple of days. We'll have to go over it and then add the closed captioning to it, and then we will upload it on the website so that everyone can go back through and find the QR codes for things. Anyone else that wants to pop in here from our questions and answer some, feel free to do that.
Sure, I can get the next one. It says, what are the differences between the RECF Engage Tier Takeover and VEX IQ Level Up competitions? The challenges look very similar. They are fairly similar. The big changes are, for one, we have different robots that can play the game. So that's a huge change. different materials the robots can be made out of. The beanbags start in different locations. We have some different rules about plowing depending on where the beanbags are at and how things are scored. The scoring is completely different, so that changes the strategy of the game because with different scoring changes what's going to be more valuable. So read through the rule books and kind of compare the two, and you'll be able to find a lot of the differences and how the games are played and the strategy that's going to be needed to play the two games.
Thanks, Chris.
I'll jump in and answer some of the questions about our drones programs. A couple people asked about getting support for drones that they may have already purchased. We highly recommend that you reach out to our product partners. That's going to be RoboLink or Mind's Eye or Drone Competition Gate. All of them have tech support and as well as product support. They can answer any questions for you as far as replacing broken motors or propellers or frames, or give you resources in how to make your drones last longer. So please reach out to the product suppliers. They will be able to help you out, and they have been fabulous product partners with the RECF. So we encourage you to do that. A couple people have been asking about what's the future and talking about the FAA Part 107 certification and the Remote Pilot Unmanned Aerial Craft System certificate. We are actively having conversations with partners. This is going to be in our future, that there will be options for you to be able to offer the Part 107 curriculum and in your classroom. So excited about that. There are grants specifically available for both the Aerial Drone Competition and Aerial Drone Competition Pro. So reach out to your regional support managers and they will get you the links to those programs as well. And as a little side note, I will encourage you, if you go out to businesses in your community and tell them that you want to start a drone program. We're hearing a lot of our coaches are having a lot of success by working with local electric companies, with local drone companies, things like that want to support drone education in their community. So they're finding ways to get sponsorship. So definitely reach out to that. Somebody asked about drones for 5th and 6th graders. Well, we have always allowed 5th and 6th graders to compete. In the past, they had to compete in the middle school division when they did very well there. But this year, we are going to be opening up an elementary school division as well. So they will be able to compete in either elementary or middle school, depending on where they feel they'll fit best. And lastly, we have people in Canada who are interested in our drone program, and we do have resellers in Canada. Please reach out to your RSM or any of our product suppliers. RoboLink has a link on their website that will tell you where all of the product resellers are. So I think I've gotten all of the big drone questions. I have one for Shelley. If Shelley can answer questions about if an ADC Pro team qualifies for the fall, can they also compete in the spring? Can they do both? How's that working out, Shelley?
Oh, okay. Fantastic. That's a great question. So yes. So the aerial drone competition teams can compete in the fall, and all of their data, their world skills rankings, their awards, all of that will qualify them for a December championship. In January, it starts over. So you can, your $200 registration fee covers the whole season. So you can play in the fall and then use those credentials to qualify for the December championship, and then play in another tournament sometime between, January, February, March, early April to qualify for the May championship. So that's the plan. Again, this is the first year for us to test that model, and we're going to see how it works, and we're excited to hear your feedback.
Awesome. We've had a lot of questions about game elements. We are aware that people are struggling to buy game elements specifically for robotics, that there are constraints being imposed on the sale of game elements by the product supplier. We're so sorry that you're experiencing issues with this. We are aware of it. We are actively working on it with our legal team. So just be aware that this is on our radar. It is something that we're working on. So hopefully we can rectify it and get those elements back out in the market for you to purchase soon. With regards to tournaments, when will RECF have its new field control software and new tournament manager software? So I'm going to kick that one over to Mac to talk about a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to chime in on all of this. As we mentioned earlier in the webinar, with all of these changes, we have been working on making improved systems and software for all of these different parts of tournaments, registrations, all of that. So that is a item that we are actively working on. And at this time, more information on what this is going to look like and how it is going to behave will be available at the RECF Summit in July. And if you're not attending that, it will be released shortly thereafter, at least information for it. Another big question we've been getting in terms of sites that you may need to be accessing is where for the website where teams can sign up for local events and will be for registering. It is a one-stop shop for both robotics competitions and drone competitions. So recfevents.org, that is where you can go in order to not only register your teams, but that will be where you can also look for those local qualifying events, sign up your teams, post events, one-stop shop right there. As mentioned earlier, we have been making substantial changes to it. So a lot of people have been experiencing some issues with it as well. If that is the case, as we mentioned during the training earlier, feel free to just reach out to your regional support manager. Give them specifics with whatever error you've received or whatever issue you are encountering, and they can help you out and get you the correct information or point you in the right place. So I'm excited for that, but please keep in mind, we are making those changes as we speak. So while everything may not be out right now, it is coming out shortly, and you can always reach out for more information. Another item that I am seeing in our Q&A that I want to address is actually about Q&A. We are currently working on a improved site for not only view the game manual, but also to submit Q&As and have a score calculator app. I'm hoping that this site itself will be released very shortly in the next few days. And at that time, we will make a few announcements and you will likely hear from your regional support manager. So keep your eye out on an email for that. I am excited for what that is. And with any of these, if you have any issues, again, just reach out for support and we are happy to help you with that. That's one of the great things with our program is we have a wonderful team that is always here to help.
All right, next up is I've got a lot of questions about different components. So one of the questions here is the Achieve Arena components the same as the Vex Arena components that I used last year? I ordered the component, the arena last year, and I want to make sure that I don't need to order a new one. Yes, you can still use the same arenas that you were using last year. If anything, we're not closing any doors to equipment. We're just trying to open more doors. So you don't worry that we're going to ban equipment this year or next year that you already have. That's not going to be the case. We're just trying to open up more avenues. So if anything, we'll have more arenas as options for you to purchase so that you can purchase things that fit in your price point. Another one is about pneumatics. Will the SMC pneumatics be considered VEX electronics? I'm just going to read the rule right out of the rule book. It says commercial manufactured pneumatic components, including cylinders, actuators, valves, gauges, storage tanks, regulators, manifolds, and tubing are allowed. So commercially available pneumatics are allowed. So that would include the SMC pneumatics. Is it okay to use the original bean bags that came with the game? So I know in the pictures that we showed of the game, the bean bags did not say anything on them. They were blank. Yes. You know, we did that for obvious reasons, but you are free to use the original bean bags that came along with the game. You don't have to buy any special bean bags just to run our events. That is absolutely fine. Next question up. Will you provide illegal pieces that you accept for inspection? I'm guessing this is like a legal parts list is what they're asking about. Yes, the GDC is developing a legal parts list with pictures so you can easily identify the different types of structural parts. So, you know, whether they're Lego or whether we're talking about the metal robots with the Tetrix parts, so you can kind of easily identify those parts and know that they're good to go.
Thanks, Chris. I actually kind of love these questions because we have a few questions about, do you see an advantage or disadvantage to teams not using all the same materials? And we're also touching on 3D printing is only one method of fabrication, and laser and CNC would be others. Is there any intent to reward teams for original design parts and or to restrict copied or adult design fabrications? And how are the required VEX motors going to work with new metal parts and gears such as the robots? This is where I believe that we are going to see our students shine, right? This is going to be an opportunity for them to figure out ways to make it work. I'm absolutely convinced that we have kids, and we already have. We see 3D printed adapters online to adapt the motors. You already have to work with the new allowed parts. As far as the judging part, obviously the notebooks are still there. We're still going to look for teams to provide us with how they come up with the 3D printed parts that they're going to be using. Is there a disadvantage or an advantage to having different parts? I believe that we are going to see students using them. I also believe that our GDC is keeping a tight enough range on it so that students, we are not going to have a benefit of some schools over another, but students are going to be able to use their imagination, their innovation, their iteration, and do some really cool stuff.
Well, Rika, I want to go ahead and take some of the following questions about some event partner access. There was a question that says, I have requested event partner access, and when are those going to be set up? So once you're in recfevents.org, they do have that button that you can request EP status. Once you hit that, please be sure to reach out to your regional support manager. This allows us to verify your account and find you in the queue and then be able to give you access. Another question regarding claiming their organization. I need to claim another team. Here's the question from our school, but that coach is no longer available by that email. Should I reach out to my regional support manager? Absolutely. Reach out to your RSM. They'll need to work with technology to get that old email removed and swapped with yours. So if there's any issues about previous primary contacts no longer at your school, immediately reach out to your RSM. We can change them things on the back end. There's also a question about, will there be a $5 processing fee for registrations for tournaments with events? Yes, for qualifying events, we will still have the REC take the $5 from each team registration for that event. And this money actually goes to maintain our website. Let's see, I think we answered this live, but I'll go ahead and answer it. If you were an EP last year, do you have to recertify this year? No. If you were an EP last year, you will not have to recertify, but you will need to learn the new event management systems before your event. And we will have coach trainings on the new software after the EP summit. And then it says, is the fee waiver for robotics and drones combined? So the fee waivers are program specific. You can use them for drones or the robotics, but they are calculated separately for each program. Example, so if you have more than 6 aerial drone teams last season, we'll allow you to have free waivers for those extra drone teams.
And Emily, let's just add to that. If you are an event
A few
partner
videos back, I
and you
promise.
host an event, we do have some event partner support funding for you as well. So that's another way to, yes, those $5 will be there to keep our software going. However, you will be getting event partner support as you're hosting an event.
That's exactly right. And I had touched on grants earlier. So there are event partner grants that are sponsored. We'll call those events sponsored by our sponsors that support the REC Foundation. But as Ulrika also stated, there will be RECF event partner stipends as well that you can apply for. So if you're interested in any of those, you can reach out directly to your RSM.
Yeah, I will say there's a lot of questions coming in that probably have actually already been answered within this webinar itself. So we will have this webinar available for you guys within the next week or so. It's going to be on the recf.org. If you go to the top right-hand corner and click on more, you're going to see where it says trainings, and we'll have that webinar there for you all. But again, just kind of a disclaimer that all of our policies and everything that is written down in the REC library kind of supersedes what we've been discussing today. So make sure you check out the updated information because things are going to change. So make sure that you guys are ready for that. And if you have any other questions, always reach out to your regional support manager for that. But a lot of those extra questions we have coming in have actually already kind of been answered. So go back and check out the webinar a little bit later on this week. If you have folks and coaches and parents that would like this information, please make sure you show them this webinar just to kind of get started. And if you have any questions, again, reach out to your RSM. They're happy to meet with you all. If you have a bunch of coaches that want to get together and have kind of a little town hall meeting just to be able to ask questions, your RSMs are there to do that as well.
Yeah, we got some great questions coming in that are about specific rules. So just a reminder that if you have specific rule questions, those should go to the Q&A once that is up. So I'm seeing a question here about Engage Game Manual Rule 2.2.2. If you have a specific game rule question, let's push those over to the Q&A so the game design committee can actually look at those and answer those and give you a proper answer. Those aren't to be answered at a webinar like this. Those would be more beneficial for a Q&A type of a question. So great question, but those would be good for the Q&A.
I see a couple of more drone related questions that I'll tackle. One is asking about the drone field element kit for aerial drone competition. So if you had the field element kit last year, then you need to keep your tunnel. The tunnel that was part of the game element kit is part of the field element kit for the new season. If you are new to aerial drone competition, when you purchase the field element kit V3, it will contain the tunnel. Or the tunnel is also available for individual purchase through drone competition gates. The next question is about the pre-orders for the aerial drone competition. If you pre-order, they are planning to ship those out on the 10th of August so that you will have them within a day or two of the game reveal on the 11th. That was fun to see those trucks leave last year. They posted a video of the trucks headed out with all of those game elements. The next question is comparing to other drone competitions and is asking about any virtual components to the competition. And currently there are not. Everything is in person and follow the same model with the 4 missions as our robotics programs. And those are all of the drone questions so far.
We got an interesting judging question here. So again, any judging question really should go to the judging Q&A. Will students receive their scored notebook interviews rubrics at the end of the competition? In the past, we've never done feedback for judging, but that would be a great thing to put in the judging Q&A to see if that's something that's going to change this year. So I would highly encourage you to put questions like that for judging into the judging Q&A once that is all up and running.
I also saw a question here on how will the RCF handle small independent teams that are not attached to a school or nonprofit organization, basement or garage teams. All teams are welcome to register and participate in RCF programs. Having been a parent of a team in my living room, I know that was highly educational and amazing. And again, that's what we're looking for. We just want to provide those opportunities for students.
Here's a great question that maybe Mac could answer for us. Will coaches be able to use our event management software in the classrooms, or will it be locked down similar to the old software has been locked down?
We are planning on enabling it for scrimmage use and use outside of an official tournament. The new software is going to be more web-based. That way it can be used on a larger variety of systems compared to the previous software that people have used before. So I'm very excited about that change. More information on that will come out when we get to the EP Summit and have a version that can be used by everyone. The ability to use it for non-approved events in RECF events may be something that gets tackled down the road at this point. To be completely honest and transparent with everybody, there are a few things that likely will come down the line as we progress throughout the season. Still within a reasonable timeline, but we are trying to make sure we are shifting focus and getting everything absolutely needed right now to ensure everybody has a successful season. One of these items that I saw somebody asking the Q&A about would be a mobile app similar to previous ones that would let you view skills, scores, standings, and rankings. That is in the timeline. I just do not have a exact time frame to share at this point.
I'm also looking at a question about trying to pay with a purchase order and needing an invoice from RECF events. It is easy to find and get that invoice, but I think it would be easier for you to get that explanation if you reach out to your RSM tomorrow. They'll be able to guide you in how to get that invoice off of RECF events.
All right, Ben, can you go ahead and put up the next slide just for our professional development? So scan this QR code or type in that tiny URL and go ahead and fill this out so you guys can get your hour and 20 minutes or so of PD credit. And don't forget to make sure you put the program that you're interested in or that are coaching in and who your regional support manager is. So that you do have some specific questions, we can actually tag your RSM and we can make sure that they reach out to you guys in a timely manner and kind of answer those questions. And again, if they don't have those answers, they're still going to reach out to you and acknowledge those questions to make sure that you get those answers as soon as possible. Again, these webinars are going to, for the most part, going to be once a month. And so we're going to have those dates and upcoming topics for you guys to peruse a little bit later on this month as well. Next month is our RECF Summit, so we'll see what we're going to have for you all then. But for the most part, our focus is going to be on the RECF Summit and rolling out the season with all of our brand new updates as well.
Thanks, Pat. Yeah, definitely go ahead and fill out that PD certificate form. I think there's a place in there to kind of give some opinions. If you have some stuff that you want us to cover as the training team this year, please add them there. We do take a look at them every time that we get them, and we try to angle our webinars to be very useful for you, the coaches and the event partners. We have a few questions here about our RECF STEM World Championship. We gave the dates. We don't know which level or which program will be happening at which date, but that's going to be upcoming. I took a look to see when the AP exams were this year. I don't think that they are out yet, but I do think that we will just miss that cutoff for the AP testing. So hopefully that's going to be the case. Each state will continue to have a regional, an event region championship. It's going to follow basically the same pattern that we did last year. We may have some more conferences that will be continuing that those conferences will basically have a direct path to the championship as well. So that's exciting. I also just saw a question about there not being credit card fees any longer when you pay registrations online, and that is accurate. We did remove the credit card fees. We got a lot of input that schools were having a hard time adding, being able to pay with a credit card if there was a fee attached to it. And we want this to be easy and simple for coaches and teachers, so that is something that we did remove off of RECF events as you move forward.
Ulrika, I have another question related to drone signature events. So last season was our very first year to have a aerial drone competition signature event. And we do have a confirmation from Carolina Countdown in South Carolina that they will be including ADC and ADC Pro in their event this year. Super excited about that. Woo woo. And we are accepting applications. So reach out to your regional sport manager if you would like to apply to host an aerial drone signature event or a signature event that maybe combines multiple programs from the REC Foundation.
Thank you, Shelley. That is really exciting. I'm just kind of scanning the last of the questions here. I'm seeing, do we still need to do an engineering notebook? Absolutely, that is part of it. I don't see it as a need to do. I see it as an excellent skill that these kids are learning. Writing, being able to tell you what they have done and how they have gotten to a thought, how they have gotten to their build of their robot. Um, I see this question. Someone who hosted an event last season and it still doesn't have some teams that haven't paid them. Please reach out to our accounting department for that. We definitely want to make sure that anyone who was not paid from last year is paid. Just like you, we can also not get into the system from last year. So we need your help to be able to make sure that you get that money. So you can, when this goes live, you can go to the support page and find all that information and reach out to us.
Here's a great question. Will future games continue to use VEX game elements, or will RECF be sourcing their own game elements? So no, we will not continue to use VEX game elements in the future. This current game was co-developed by us and VEX, so that's why we're using it. After this year, RECF will have its own games separate from the VEX games. So this will be the 1 year where we overlap and use the same game elements because we worked together to develop the game.
See a few questions popping up about software items once again. So I'll just kind of reiterate the items I've said. As mentioned, we are going to be rolling out a new site for Q&A, game manuals, and scoring calculators very soon. Somebody else asked about the app Referee FYI. That is an app that will be exclusively used by RECF competitions. So that will have the same functionality that head refs have used in the past, which is a great addition for all events. But a lot of these other software items, I am just going to have to say at this point, as mentioned, they are in progress, and a lot more information will come out when we get to the RECF Summit next month. So at that point, you can definitely be on the lookout for a lot more information on all the different software offerings we will have.
Thanks, Mac. And I'm also looking at a question that says, what happens with Skills USA? Skills USA is also a program that we are still working with. And I believe we have a contract with them for many years to come. So that is something that we are still actively working with as the REC Foundation. Again, we are getting very close to 8:30 and we don't want to keep you any longer than that time. We want to be we want to make sure that we end this on time. In the background here, panelists, do we have any more questions that we have missed that we should be answering? And again, if your question was not answered, reach out to your RSM. And they will be able to give you answers.
Yeah,
And if
I was
they,
just going to say we got close to 200 questions, so we didn't necessarily get them all answered, but we're trying to get through as many as we can.
Yeah, since we're recording this, we can still capture those questions, and if they're questions that we haven't already answered, then we can incorporate that in some sort of frequently asked question type of thing. But like Ulrika said and everybody else, just go ahead and reach out to your regional support manager with those questions so they can get those to you as soon as possible.
oh, and I did see another one here. It says, where can I find more information on how to complete notebooks? So the RECF library for RECF robotics competition is currently being updated, and it should be out shortly. And so that's where you're going to be able to find information on notebooks. You're going to find all of those resources that we have available. So we're excited about that being something that's coming shortly. And to add to that, also the Coach Academy, where you can join and have a one-on-one with one of our training team, are also things that will happen in this fall, and are ways that you can be getting those resources that you need.
Well, here's a great question. So is our new website for robotics and drones? Yes. Everything falls under the same website. So our whole family of programs for robotics and drones is going to be all under the same website. So hopefully, and using the same software, hopefully in a few years too. So hopefully in a few years, running a robotics tournament is going to feel just like running a drones tournament, and it'll be all very synergistic.
And maybe this is the question that we finish with. It says, I've coached for 7 years, and because of it, I've purchased a bunch of VEX equipment for my school. If RECF breaks away from VEX, can we continue to use VEX for future competitions? Absolutely. All of that material is stuff that will be used, that can be used for the robots that you guys are going to be building. Ryan didn't get to mention it, but he wanted to add that he met with a lot of first teams out in DC today, and they were all very excited about being able to do something with all the equipment that they have. So we are not looking to shut someone out. We are looking for ways to help our students create incredible robots and learn skills as far as not only building robots, but also the soft skills that are so important. So again, we are so thankful for all of you guys being here tonight. We appreciate you spending an hour and a half with us. Again, like Pat has been saying, reach out to your RSM. Make sure that you get answers to those questions that you have. If we don't have the answers, we'll tell you and we'll try to dig for them. But we really want to be here for the students and to make some really awesome futures for them.
I got one last question. Will there be a JRC National Championship, or will it be at Worlds? So I am working with Cadet Command currently to schedule a JRC National Championship. Right now, it is looking like it will be at Worlds. So that one's for Mark. So Mark, right now it is looking like the JRC National Championship will be at St. Louis with our STEM World Championship. And we are out of time.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris, for that last questions. And we appreciate you guys being here again. And we'll hope to see you at events in the future. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.